Honestly, if there's one smartphone brand that quietly had the best year, it's Vivo. Just look at some of the phones they launched this year. The Vivo T series, especially the T4 Ultra, was a solid value. The Vivo V60 was a decent camera phone for mid-range users. The Vivo X200 series also finally got the recognition it deserved. And talking about this year, this little phone, the Vivo X300, is currently my favorite compact phone, while the Vivo X300 Pro is probably the best camera phone right now. They also launched the Vivo X200T just a few weeks ago, which is another great device if your budget is like 60,000 rupees. Even its a sub-brand iQOO is doing quite well. I've personally used both the iQOO 15 and the iQOO 15R, and honestly, both are incredible devices. And just a few weeks ago, Vivo upgraded its V series as well. This year, we have the Vivo V70 as well as the V70 Elite. The V70 Elite is slightly more powerful and a bit more expensive, but apart from that, these are basically the same phones. So, are the Vivo V70 and the V70 Elite good products under 50,000 rupees? Well, for the most part, the answer is yes. There are a few things that feel like a joke at this price, but there are also some genuinely good improvements this year that make the V70 a solid mid-range option right now. And the first improvement we get here is the design. It's more premium now. We get a flat design this time, and it actually resembles the more expensive Vivo X series phones. The size is also just right. I think for most users, a 6.5-inch display is the sweet spot, and that's exactly what Vivo has gone with here. It's not compact, but it's not too big either. It's just the right size. The build quality is also quite robust. Apart from these metal frames, Vivo has retained the IP68 and IP69 dust and water resistance. The color options are also really nice. This red color in particular is absolutely stunning. So yeah, design-wise, Vivo has done an excellent job this year. Now, coming to the display, I do mostly have good things to say. One big upgrade is that we finally get an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, and with this, the positioning is better. It's more reliable and it works even when your hands are sweaty, so that's a solid upgrade. However, the display itself is not the best in the segment. It's decent, HDR content looks good, and it gets plenty bright. The bezels are also quite thin, but there are a few compromises here. First, I feel like the touch response could have been better here. For example, on something like the iQOO 15R, the touch response feels so much more responsive. I think since this phone is not really targeted at gamers, Vivo has not included a very high touch sampling rate. Even the haptics could have been better in my opinion. They are not as crisp as what you get on something like the iQOO 15R or even the OnePlus 15R for that matter. Here, it feels a bit cheap and buzzy. Likewise, the speakers are decent here. They get loud, the vocals are clear, but the bass is missing, and at full volume, they can sound a bit shouty. Now, another area that feels average here is definitely the performance, especially on the regular V70. The performance is not very fast since it's powered by the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4. That's the same chipset we have seen on last year's Vivo V60. Yes, we do get faster LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.1 storage this year, but the real-world performance, well, I would call it pretty average. Apps take slightly longer to load, and overall, it just does not feel like fast for the price that you're paying. So if you're someone who prioritizes performance, then I would suggest spending a little extra and going for the V70 Elite, which comes with the much more powerful Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. Still in this price range, if your top priority is performance, you should definitely go for the iQOO 15R or the Poco X8 Pro Max. Those phones are just so much better when it comes to gaming. That said, Vivo is not targeting the V70 at performance-focused users. And for most normal users, like say my sister or my mother, this level of performance should actually be more than enough. It might take a little getting used to, but overall, it should suffice for everyday usage. The area where Vivo has really focused with this phone is its cameras, and this is where I think the V70 truly shines. The camera hardware hasn't seen a massive upgrade from last year, but I think the collaboration between Vivo and Zeiss has clearly evolved and is getting better every season. The photos that I am getting from this phone, just look at the samples. They are very, very nice. Most of the shots that I clicked were in the Zeiss natural mode, and since I've used quite a few Vivo phones this year, I can say that the color optimization is very similar to what you get on Vivo's flagship phones. There's definitely that flagship DNA in the camera output, which I really like. The telephoto lens in particular is top notch. It's not a periscope lens like we see on more expensive Vivo phones, so you don't get that macro capability and faster focus, but up to 10x zoom, the zoom photos come out quite nice. Now, to be honest, the details could have been better across the lenses. When you zoom in, the main and the 3x shots aren't as sharp as flagship level phones, but the colors, the contrast, and the dynamic range are great, and overall, it just gets the job done. Now, coming to portraits, oh my god, the portraits are just so good. I think in this price range, like under 50,000 rupees, this is probably the best phone for portraits. It takes a second or two to process the shot, but once it does, the results are just amazing. The skin tones look very natural, the colors are pleasing, and it genuinely feels like you are shooting from a flagship camera phone. Plus, as always, Vivo gives you a lot of portrait options and filters to play around with, which makes things even more fun. The only thing that I didn't like about the rear camera setup is this ultra-wide sensor. Come on, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide lens in 2026. I think it's time that brands move on from this. It's about time that we retire these 8-megapixel sensors, especially at this price point. On the front, this selfie camera is no slouch though. It's wide, it has autofocus, and it captures sharp selfies. For videography, you can shoot up to 4K 60 FPS from both the main and the telephoto cameras. The stabilization could have been better, but overall the video performance is good. Even the selfie video quality is quite nice. Alright, another strong aspect about the Vivo V70 is definitely its battery life. As expected, from almost all of the phones, we get a massive 6500 mAh silicon carbon battery along with 90-watt fast charging. So the battery has never been an issue while I was using this phone. I could easily get around 8 hours of screen on time, and the charging is super quick. So overall, for around 45,000 or 50,000 for the Elite model, I think these two are very good phones from Vivo. If you can stretch your budget, the Vivo X200T definitely is a better option with slightly better cameras and performance. But if your budget is tight, I believe the Vivo V70 and the V70 Elite are solid choices. It's a clear upgrade over last year's Vivo V60, and I think this year it offers better value than what you get from the Oppo Reno series or Samsung's upcoming Galaxy A57. So yeah, just like how the X series has become so good in the flagship segment, I think Vivo has done a great job this year bringing some of that X series DNA into the V series. But before recommending, let me check if the Nothing Phone 3 is available under 50,000 rupees. Oh, it's not right now, but when it does, is the Nothing Phone 3 the best phone for 50,000 rupees? Because see, it's got better cameras, can click better videos, can click macro photos, and it has better software. What do you guys think?